Hi everyone, today I have another video for you. This and one other are my last videos on hair coloring for a while anyway. Hopefully I've covered most of your questions and maybe frustrations that you have when you're doing hair. So I wanted to share one last one with you. This is a fun Build Millarna image. You can get these at stampingscrapping.com here in the US, and I'm actually their guest artist for the month of September, and I was very flattered to be asked because I do like using these cute little images. This is a new one for fall that they have out, and I've actually made a card, and I'll share that with you. That will be on my blog, and I'm going to color her hair the exact same way that I have on this card, but this is what the whole image looks like finished being colored. These are the three colors that I'm using on her hair today: E35, E31, YR20. It's another great color combo for hair. Again, you can break it up and mix and match, but this is also one of the ones that I like to use a lot. I also wanted to show you my YR20 marker. A lot of times I get emails asking how someone will know when their marker is dry or running out. And I just wanted to show you real quick. Hopefully you can see. On the tip of my marker I actually still have some color that I had brushed off when I was using it with the brown. But on this side you can see that part of the marker is well inked with the YR20, but as I turn it around it gets much lighter, almost white through here. That's a sign the marker needs to be refilled, and obviously I let it go a little too long. I hadn't picked it up in a little bit, so in my craft room I have two of each of my sketch, so sometimes I pull out the fully inked one and sometimes I don't. But I wanted to show you that up close. Again, when you need to refill your markers, you know, it won't blend as nicely, the ink's not going to come out as nice. Sometimes it'll almost squeak across the paper. So keep that in mind, because what can happen if you let this go too long and you try to color with it while it's dry, you can actually damage the nib. Now it's not a huge deal other than that you have to buy some nibs and replace it, but you know, why do something that you don't really need to do? These nibs should last you a long time. So two different ways that you can tell if your marker's getting dry, but I wanted to point that out for you. And I know you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, she has two of each marker, but remember I teach classes, so markers that we use in class I have two of for myself here at my house, and then I have more for the classes that I'm going to be doing on the road. So anyways, let's get started. I always start with my darkest, which in this case is E35, and I'm going to zoom in just a bit more for you. Someone asked me the other night in one of my chats about the reason why I always start from bottom to top and then go from top to bottom. I do that a couple reasons. I like to keep that center area open because that's where I'm going to want to have the lightest color. The light source is going to be coming in from the upper right, so this crown side of her head, and then I'm going to do this center panel of kind of her long flowing hair. I'm going to keep that the lightest. But the reason I do that is it keeps me on track. It makes sure that I don't color over parts that I don't want to color. And when you lay your marker down, if I flip this over to the bad part, when you lay your marker down and you flick up, naturally where you've touched your marker and flicked up is going to be the darkest. So when I'm coloring on my image, I want that edge to be the darkest, and then I'm kind of flipping up. If I come from the middle and flick down, that darkest area is going to be in that middle part, which I want to keep light. So that's one of the reasons why, especially for bangs, I work up, you know, bottom to up and then the top down, leaving that center open. So just in case you were curious, or if you were using the technique and wanted to know why I did that, that's the reason. Nothing super high-tech, but some tips you might want to keep in mind when you're coloring. Just going to darken up these edges a little bit. And then I'm moving into E31. I'm just working up over those edges that I've already done and forward a bit. And then I'm going to take YR20. not really worried about blending it. I'm just kind of laying my color down. And then I'm going to start back with my E35, and I'm just going to come in and very lightly use the tips, just draw some lines in here, just kind of feathering in that color so it doesn't look too harsh. Again, remember, I like high contrast in my images, so I might use a little bit more dark than you might be comfortable with or want in your image. That's okay. I'm more about teaching the technique. I'm not worried about whether you're using the same colors or doing everything exactly like I am. Hopefully you'll take what I teach in these videos or in my classes and just use them as a guide. Again, I'm just going to darken this edge up a little bit more here. Always blending it in, never leaving that harsh line. No matter how many times you do this, you always want to come in and just feather out those edges that you've just done. And there you go. There's her hair. So it definitely looks like it's blowing in the wind now. It's given a lot of movement. I went ahead and colored her face and her headband, because sometimes I think when I color hair on video and the face isn't colored, they look a little naked or stark looking, so I had went ahead and done that. But again, another way to color hair, you know, high contrast in your colors when you choose them gives you high impact on your image and really makes it pop off the page. You know, if we'd only used 2 colors, or even if we used 3 colors that were very, very close in tone, you would not get the same sort of depth and movement in the hair. So keep that in mind when you're choosing your markers. You know, keep them a few numbers apart, jump from color to color. You can do that easily in hair. You know, use some earth tones, use some yellows, use some yellow reds, and make, you know, the hair work for you and the colors you like. Again, you know, look around on people's blogs and images. Some people, you list their Copics that they use on their images. I try to do that when I remember. Sometimes I'm not very good about it, but I do try. And mark those colors down that you like in a little notebook, so that when you're going to color your images, you can just flip up in that notebook and recall what colors they were, because if your brain works anything like mine, I have good intention of remembering, but I never do. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video today, and I'll see you back here soon. Thanks.